Hey there, science explorers. Did you know that a single teaspoon of a neutron star would weigh 6 billion tons? That's heavier than all the cars on Earth combined. We're talking about matter, the stuff that makes up everything around us from your pencil to distant galaxies. And guess what? Matter has some really cool properties. Matter is anything that takes up space and has mass. Think about it. Your backpack, your pet hamster, even the air you breathe, all matter. Now let's dive into two awesome types of properties that help us understand matter better: extensive and intensive. Extensive properties depend on the amount of matter you have. Think of it like this. Imagine a giant pizza. If you have a whole pizza, it's a lot of food, right? But if you only have one slice, it's less food. The same goes for extensive properties. Mass, the amount of matter in an object, is an extensive property. More pizza, more mass; less pizza, less mass. Volume, the amount of space something takes up, is another extensive property. A big balloon takes up more space than a small one. Now imagine cutting that pizza into smaller and smaller slices. No matter how many slices you make, the taste of the pizza stays the same, right? That's because the taste is an intensive property. It doesn't change based on the amount of pizza you have. Intensive properties are like the superheroes of matter. They stay the same no matter how much or how little of the substance you have. Density, the amount of mass packed into a given volume, is an intensive property. A drop of water and a bathtub full of water have different volumes and masses, but the same density. Let's have a quick showdown. Extensive properties are like chameleons. They change depending on the amount of matter. Intensive properties are like steadfast mountains. They remain constant regardless of the amount. Remember, extensive properties depend on the amount, while intensive properties focus on the type of matter. Section 5. Density decoded. An intensive superstar. Density is like a matter fingerprint. It tells us how tightly packed the particles are in a substance. A rock feels heavier than a feather of the same size because it has a higher density. More stuff crammed into the same space. Fun fact, did you know that Saturn has a density lower than water? If you could find a bathtub big enough, Saturn would float. Section 6. Boiling point, another intensive heavyweight. Ever notice that water always boils at 100 degrees Celsius or 212 degrees Fahrenheit at sea level, whether it's a small pot or a giant cauldron? That's its boiling point, another intensive property. It's the temperature at which a liquid turns into a gas. The boiling point of a substance stays the same no matter how much of it you have. Cool, right? Section 7. Real-world roundup. Let's take a look around. The weight of your backpack is an extensive property. Add more books and it gets heavier. The color of your juice is an intensive property. Pour more or less, the color stays the same. See how easy it is to spot extensive and intensive properties in everyday life? Section 8. Matter matters. Understanding matter and its properties is like having superpowers. It helps us understand the world around us and invent amazing things. From building lighter airplanes to developing life-saving medicines, it all starts with understanding the properties of matter. Remember, science is all about asking questions and exploring the world around you. Section 9. Keep exploring. So there you have it, science explorers. Now that you know the difference between extensive and intensive properties, go out there and observe the world with your new scientific lens. You'll be amazed at what you discover. Keep asking questions, keep experimenting, and keep the spirit of science alive. And remember, science rules.